I don't know if there's anybody that's more positive with glass half full kind of trajectory than Lisa Dietlin. Lisa, welcome to the show.
Hey, Jen, I'm so excited to be here. Happy Tuesday. You know, it's my favorite day of the week.
And I always wonder why the heck that is, Lisa. Why is Tuesday your favorite day of the week?
Well, first of all, I think Tuesday is the most overlooked day of the week. You know, nobody says, yeah, it's Tuesday. You know, you got
Tuesday,
Monday, Wednesday, or thank God it's Friday. But I was born on a Tuesday, so it's a way I honor Tuesday. It started that way. But I just think Tuesday, they've showed studies, is the most productive day of the week, the day most emails are read. And, of course, we have my favorite day, Giving Tuesday, on a Tuesday.
Perfect. And that is why we want to really tap into what people can do, because I think what's happening, I know for a lot of my friends, Lisa, this is the case, that there's just an overwhelm. Like everybody needs something and you just don't know where to begin. Well, where do we start?
Well, first of all, I say start by taking a deep breath. Taking a deep breath, counting to 3, and letting it out and realizing you do not have to solve it all. And thinking about what your passion is. This is what Giving Tuesday now is about. You know, next Tuesday on May 5th, which we normally do, Cinco de Mayo, is a day of global movement to say to everybody, let's come together and raise money. And I would put it in 3 buckets, not surprisingly. You know, the first bucket for your listeners to think about is the first responders. So the healthcare workers, the hospitals, the clinics, the, you know, senior residence centers, the VAs, people are on the front line actually fighting COVID-19. Do you want to support them? Or do you want to support organizations that are rising to the challenge? So you think about food banks or the American Red Cross, or you think about, you know, housing and clothing, you know, those people that are struggling making their rent, or that might have trouble, you know, putting food on the table. Do you want to help that group of people? Or in the third category, our stalwart cultural institutions. You know, here in Chicago, we have the Field Museum and the Art Institute, you know, Getty's in LA, you've got the Philadelphia Institute of Art in Philadelphia. There's so many wonderful organizations like that, in addition to libraries and boys and girls clubs and, you know, big brothers, big sisters. There's all sorts of, so put them in 3 buckets, listeners. You know, think about, is it, I want to directly help, I want to give some masks, I want to do some PPE, I want to make sure my dollars go to help those on the front lines, including police, fire, EMTs. The second would be the food banks and the blood banks, you know, that are accepting, those that are making sure that homeless people have a place to stay, that everybody is safe and fed and cared for during this time. And then the third is our cultural and our stalwart institutions that hold our community together, like the theater, like dance troupes, like organizations that help our kids when they can do fun activities with youth development organizations.
I think what's also really important for anybody out there that's listening that just is hoping, they're holding their breath so that this can all go back to the way it was. There are some really good things, and you know this from being a philanthropy expert and transformational change agent, that there are ways we can change our life now that will stay instead of going back to any sort of, quote, normal. This is all a new normal.
Absolutely. You know, when my friends say that, you know, I just wanted to go back to the way it was, I want to go back to normal, I said, that's gone. You know, grieve it, be frustrated, storm around, stomp your feet, but look ahead at what's coming. And I loved when Governor Cuomo in New York said, you know, even after 9/11, we came out of it and we were better. And Superstorm Sandy, we came out of it, we learned lessons, and we've become better as a people. So, you know, my favorite thing is always saying, you know, do 3 things for the world, and 3 things for yourself every day. And the 3 things for the world, you and your son, you know, picking up trash. That's one of mine. Picking up a piece of trash every single day. Writing a piece of personal correspondence. We have people that, you know, when they get it's been a long time since we've had the art of writing letters, but we can write letters now, especially to people who might be shut in, or put a phone call to them. Maybe every day you do reach out to somebody in your circle of friends, or distant friends, or parents of friends that might be going through things and be a little at risk or alone, and you make sure that they have a really, really amazing moment throughout the day, because the day can get long for those who are shut in and not being able to go back to their old normal. And then the third thing is, why not pay a genuine compliment to somebody? Right now we're clapping for the carers, we're thanking people, we're putting teddy bears in our windows. How about taking that to a granular level and saying to somebody, that you haven't perhaps given a compliment to, giving them a genuine compliment. It's so easy to make a difference. Most people think when I talk about philanthropy, it's just about money. But philanthropy is just a really big word for sharing. It truly means, the root means brotherly love. And it's how do you show that love? And it's not just about the dollars. Sometimes it's about your actions.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I also, too, wonder when people have been faced with really scary circumstances, which is what happened with you, and I know the listeners have heard me talk with you about this before, but when you were hit by a taxi in rush hour, knocked straight out of your shoes, went up, landed on the hood, slid off the hood where the cab went over you, then backed over you, and you wound up with basically one tiny little scratch on your leg, if that, right?
Right.
And
if that, right.
If that. And you were, I tell people all the time, you were caught by angels. There's just no doubt. You were caught by angels, and you're here today, and you heard clairaudiently, you got a message while you were there, waiting in your gown. Tell the listeners what you heard.
Well, the message I heard was, it's all BS except happiness and joy. And those of you who are my friends and our listeners know that that is not my go-to swear word, the word BS. It's not, I always laugh and I say, it's the word that rhymes with hockey puck and not the hockey part that I will more often come out of my mouth. But, it really took the universe, gods, conspiring, whatever you believe in, saying, Lisa Dietlin, you're going in the wrong direction. I need you to do something else. And I wasn't listening. And I kept wanting to go back to the way it was. If I could only, I had a big company, I had all these people, people were coming, people were going. It's like I kept thinking I could fix it, I could fix it, I could fix it. And the universe had something completely different in mind they wanted me to do. They wanted me to do something about spreading happiness and joy, saying to people, it's the small things. Sometimes we spend our whole life waiting. We've all heard those stories about people who, work and work and work and work to retire to live their life, and then they die. And it's every single moment. Find the happiness right now in this COVID-19, whether you're stay in place, stay at home, shelter in place, quarantine, whatever you want to call it. Find the good in this time. Before this, everybody was saying, oh my gosh, Lisa, if only I had time. If only I had time, I'd read a book, or I'd clean the closet, or I'd learn to bake, or I'd write letters, or learn calligraphy, or whatever it is. You have the time. We were given this amazing gift of time, and why aren't we happy and joy-filled about it? Why aren't we showing kindness? My neighbor, I'm on the board of my HOA here, and one of the gentlemen on the board, he has been on the board as long as I have, 9-10 years, and I've never spent time with his wife, and she was outdoors, and she had a boot on, and I go, what happened? And, she told me she was running and pulled. I go, do you drink wine? She goes, well, yes, I do. I go, we are getting lawn chairs out. We are sitting 6 feet apart, and I don't care if we like each other or not. We're going to get to know each other. And we laugh, because of course we would like each other. But,
right.
I've lived here since 2005, 15 years, and I've never had a glass of wine or a conversation with her before COVID-19. I mean, that's a happiness and joy moment. I might have a new friend.
You're right.
Just simply because I saw, she's got 3 kids. They're in the house. I'm like, oh, my God, are you doing okay? When they said, you drink wine, she looked like, oh, my God, can we have it now? It was 8:30 in the morning.
Oh, dear.
It was like,
just wait a few hours. It's noon somewhere.
You have to think about happiness and joy at every moment.
Absolutely. LisaDietlin.com is where you can find out more about Lisa. And, of course, you can find her books there, including the I Got Hit by a Taxi, But You Look Run Over, and Power of Three, Making a Difference, all 1, 2, and 3, and many other awesome nuggets of wisdom. We will talk with you next week, my dear. Sound good?
Sounds great. I look forward to it. And everyone, just take baby steps and deep breaths and do 3 things a day. It'll be all okay.